So this is a continuation from the previous video. So as I was highlighting, in terms of data collection tools, it's then determined by the type of your study. You cannot have a study where you're using all the methods of data collection and procedures. If your study is quantitative, you only focus on quantitative data collection tools, which is like a questionnaire, and you then explain how you are going to administer your questionnaire, whether it's telephone, postal, or it's face to face. If it's qualitative, you also then focus on how you are going to collect your data. With qualitative, you focus on your interview guide, how you are going to do it, your focus group discussions, how you are going to, how we are going to organize your focus group discussions, the number of people you're going to interview, and the key informants. So you explain this. If you use other additional methods, you also explain them. But my point here is, you don't have to write all methods. You just write the methods which you are going to use for your study. Then the same goes for data analysis. The same goes for data analysis. That's the next stage. So you're also going to write. You also only focus on your type of data. If your data is quantitative, you only focus on methods of quantitative data analysis. If your study is qualitative, you only focus on on methods for qualitative data analysis. I have recorded separate lectures for this on how to analyze data, either quantitative or qualitative, and how to present this data. So please don't write both qualitative and quantitative. You only write one method, one type of analysis, which is based on your type of data. Then for the permission, this is another section which you then write. You indicate your permissions, where you're going to get it, and it's like in our example of quarantine centers, you should get permission from Minister of Health, Minister of Social Welfare, Minister of the Police and Home Affairs, some of the admin manager. Then it's also important to highlight, because issues about ethics. So you put the ethics about informed consent, for the patients, where you highlight, issues of private and confidentiality. So it will be one paragraph where you write all those things. Then from there, you go on to your budget. So you put your budget. I think I've explained this before. You put your items, you put your quantity, you put your unit cost, and you put total. Then you always put a contingency test. Then you will write your timeline, and your timelines in terms of the activities which you are going to be doing. The first one being to develop your proposal, collecting your data analysis, writing your research project, and finally submitting it. Then you write your, at the end, as you be writing, whatever you be writing, especially in the literature review. In the literature review section here, you'll be citing, or quoting where you have got the information. Then at the end, you then need to list your references, where you got the information. Then after your reference, you go to your appendices. Then again, I've seen a lot of other mistakes happening with the other students, where, remember, your study is either quantitative or qualitative. I've seen people developing both questionnaire and open-ended questionnaire for the interview guide. As I said, you choose one of them depending on your. This is just a teaching example where we are teaching you both how to write quantitative, which are closed questions for a questionnaire, and interview guide for open-ended questions for qualitative studies. So you choose. You don't have to have in your protocol. You have got questionnaire, you have got interview guide. Those things, you cannot have a study with two things. Remember, please, I emphasize this. From the start, remember, I started explaining this. In your study design, you specify is a quantitative or qualitative. And then you go to you go to your data collection procedures. You go to your data collection procedures. So in terms of what procedures which you'll be using, it also depends whether you are doing a qualitative or a quantitative study. So you don't mix these things. So if your data collection, you choose one, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. Then your data analysis, you also focus on one, depending on your type of study, whether it's quantitative or qualitative. The same applies here to your data, to your appendices. You focus on one depending on the type of study which you have chosen. If it was a questionnaire, if your study is quantitative, you only put quantitative. If your study is qualitative, you also put what? You only put the interview guide. Please, 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 don't mix these things. I've seen people having these their research proposals where they are putting all these things, not really understanding these things. It was just a teaching example where you put either one of the two, depending on the type of your study. Then after that, we have your another appendix, is letters of permission. And maybe you want to get permission, you want to get permission, you write the letter which you're going to get permission. Then you put your concept notes. Your concept note is also to be part of the appendices of your proposal. And in this case, we already have our concept notes, and this is an example. This is our concept notes, which has to be part of the concept note should be part of should appear should be part of the appendices. So you cut and paste your concept notes and as it is. So that's your concept notes which you put there. If you've got any permission letters, you also put. And so that will be how your research protocol will be. That is how your full proposal should be appearing. Then when you are done like this, it means your full proposal is ready. You submit it. When your full proposal is accepted, that is correct, you then go ahead and collect your data. After you collect your data, you analyze your data. After analyzing your data, you write your results section, your discussion, and you write your full proposal. So I hope this is very clear, and it is very clear, and we have understood it. Otherwise, this is the end of our series of lectures on writing a research proposal.